Welcome back, everybody. It's Cliff again with another scenario in Off the Line. Had a great time last time playing The Hills Have Eyes, Scenario 3, which put the ape into a defensive posture, which it did a respectable job at. Could have easily won that game, but we lucked out, managed to break them at the end. I want to play one more scenario for you. Scenario 7, They're Back. Sticking with our movie theme, sort of Poltergeist 2 here from the mid-80s. Alright, so I want to have the ape playing offense to show you that it can do that too. So let's fire it up and set up. So, start a new game. We'll come at solo. Scenario 7 uses boards 2, add a row, and board 7. And we'll finish that. And there we are. No log file. We don't need this. Let's zoom out. And that's pretty good. So here we are. This is our half of the board. Scenario 7. They're back. The Americans have fought to clear and hold the town of Strass outside the Hürtgen forest in Germany. As they try to get some rest, the Germans counterattack to retake the town, 10 turns with the Germans in the initiative. So we're like members of the 83rd Infantry Division, I guess, around Hürtgen, and we're facing off against like the 353rd Infantry Division of the Germans. That unit really got mauled in the Falaise pocket. Rebuilt in late 44, and it was more or less Volksgrenadier in the way it was organized, which means it's just a hodgepodge of soldiers, and they often had a lot of automatic weapons. That being said, let us worry about setup and our tactics for this session. So the Americans, that's us, we're in town, we set up first. We get 2 to 6. So let's go to our Americans and get our build. We'll take 2 to 6, 6 down to 2, and we'll say okay. We'll draw those on, and we get 26 and 32. So specific cards, 32 and command 26. Thinking about it. Say okay. Okay. Pull those two. And I get 57 and 58. Specific cards. Take 57 and 58. Just 57 and 58. Thank you. And who else do I take? 61. Sorry, frog in the throat. 61, 2 and 3, and 77. 77. 63, 62, 61. Okay. So let's take a look what we got here. I'm going to zoom in a bit so I can see. Alright. We got Bailey and Stewart here. They've got carbines. They're good at close in, which is going to be handy. This is going to be a lot of close in. We got Foster, Murphy, Young, James. He's got a Garand. He's got a Garand. Garand. This is our Browning. And another Garand. And up here we got Hughes and Gomez, more carbines, Miller, and got Campbell on an LMG. These must be our leaders. Jenkins, Leroy Jenkins. with a 2, and Walker with a 2. So our hand size is going to be 5. That's our soldiers. Our mission. The Germans must control 11 or more, that's about half of the building hexes at the end of the scenario. And we have to avoid. So we have to retain the village. Let me zoom out. That's mission. The enemy, they're going to be a squad of Volksgrenadiers. So met. Then we got terrain. And we've got weather. Terrain and weather, no weather to speak of. Terrain. Well, as we look at this map, they're coming in from up north, broken woods with lines of fire in between, a bunch of close-in buildings to fight. We've got to not lose 11, which is like this central cluster. We got woods on our flanks. I want to get good lines of fire here. So we're going to try to spread our guys out. We can't have more than 2 soldiers in a hex for the Americans. So we can't really clump up. Wouldn't want to anyway. We're more or less going to create a sort of a skirmish line across with the best lines of fire we can get. That's terrain. Troops. Well, we got ours. We've got a Browning. Where's my Browning at? Here's my Browning. Come on, I'm hovering. That's my Browning. He's a 2. I'm going to put him over here in the woods, and he's going to be dug in. So can I do that? Can I prone him out? I'm going to prone him out. Over here on my other flank. Well, we better consider leaders here. So we got our troops. We got time, 10 turns. And from the scenario card here, our break is 5. We have to exchange terrain for time. We can't lose many soldiers. Only 5. That's tough. His break is 7. The Elan is both 6. So his base order is 1. Okay, what am I going to do with my soldiers? I got a squad leader who will be yellow circle. I think I'm going to put my squad leader right here. Because he can extend his command range too. Which means he can kind of command this circle. So he can command in these woods and in these buildings here. And my assistant squad leader can only extend 1, so I'm going to put him over here, which means that he can do sort of this circle. By putting my Browning over here, he's not in command, so I'll have to commit a whole order to him to get him going. But everybody else I'm going to try to keep in command. So let me get rid of that and do that with my leaders. So my Jenkins will go here, Leroy, and Walker will go over here. Alright, I want a Garand here because this has got some range. I'm going to zoom in just a smidge. There. Alright, a Garand. Put James by himself over here. This house is important. So I'm going to stick in... what do we got here? Bailey with a carbine, and I want another carbine in there with them. Hughes. That gives them 5 for melee. Want this man here. So I need to position my LMG. I'm going to put him here. I'm going to give him a 1-1 loader. Do I have a 1-1 with a... No, they're both Garands. So he's going to be the loader. So let me... Can I get a crew here? Complete. No, I have to go dig it out. Pieces, game, crew. Not complete. Crew. There. Put my crew marker there. Alright. I think I'll put a 2-2 here. And a 1. And I think I'm going to put a 1 here. That doesn't have a great line of sight. I'm going to put a 2 and a 1 here. Let's take a look at what we got now. Zoom out a little bit. Alright. LOSs. My Browning can obviously see there, and you can see up here. So that's all good. Let's do it this way. P1 arrow. You can see up there, and there, and there, and then down this, and you can also see along this way. This Garand can see up into these woods and to that building. You can even see up here. Jenkins here is not going to be able to see that, but he can get inside here. So he can see these woods and keep that under control. These guys have that woods and this building, and he can go over to these woods and he can cut across here. My machine gun, my LMG, can cut all the way like this and through here. These guys can help maintain fire on that building and these trees. So yeah, I've got most of their lines of approach covered once they get up to these trees. This flank looks weak over here. This flank is not particularly covered either. We're weak on the flanks. They're probably going to try to flank us, but we can reposition. So that's us positioned. And I'm just going to mark those as masked. I'm not going to use any dummies for us, but I will for them. They're on offense. They get 61 to 70 and 2 fakes. So German build. $61 to $70 specific, 70 down to 61, and then 2 fakes, 1, 2. Okay, a 3-3 with an MP40, a 3-2 with an MP, a 2-2 with an MP, a 2-3 with an MP, a 2-3 with an MP, a 1-2 with an MP, a 1-2 with an MP, a 3-3 with a submachine gun, and that's their big leader with 3, and then a 2-2 their assistant, and then another machine. Yeah, I told you these guys are like Volksgrenadiers. So let's put, I don't need to worry about crew on any of these, and these guys can all assault fire. Every single bloody one of them can assault fire. And they've got really good melee values, which means I'm not looking forward to close combat. They are better than us, but we're more numerous than them. So that is that. Now for their disposition, I'm going to make this smaller to make it easier to deal with. There. As I look at this, it's obviously they're going to have to push some in the center, but the center is a big death zone. Their priority for movement is to be to victory points. That's going to be buildings. I'm not going to count this gray roofed building out here. It's like a barn outside of town. But all these red roofed ones, even this one in map 2, I'm going to consider part of town. They're trying to occupy 11 of those. They'll try to move into a building if they can. The ape doesn't move into close combat unless it has superior odds. So they're going to be doing assault firing. They're going to try to get line of sight. So they're probably going to move into these trees and then try to get line of sight and try to suppress us, get us pinned, and then move up with assault fire and finally assault with melee in the buildings. The question is, what's their avenue of approach? I'm going to assume that there's going to be some central action because that's where the buildings are. And there's going to be a flank. So it's either going to be left center or right center. And we're going to determine that randomly. Left center is a 1. It's left center. So I'm just going to shuffle that back in. So left center. Because I want them to be able to close to melee, we're going to do stacks of 3. There'll be 4 stacks of 3, because if they can move with a stack of 3, they'll likely have good odds to be moving in with melee. If they get all spread out one at a time, onesies and twosies, it's too spread out, and we'll likely just pick them all off as they try to approach, and that wouldn't be very smart on their point. So in this game, they get to set up within 3 hexes of the north edge. So it's left center 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put 3 in there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's 1, 2, 3. Let's spread them out a little bit. And then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 in that woods. 1, 2, 3. And then center. 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2, 3. And then this guy. 1, 2, 3. That's a little bit exposed. What's the next best thing? These are in the left. They're going to try to push up on the left to try to take out my Browning. If they can do that, they can move down to this woods and then flank my buildings, and I'll be forced to pivot everybody. He wants to keep pressure here. Just going to go in the woods there. 1, 2, 3. It's not as far forward, but it'd be stupid to start in the open. So there they are. Their basic idea is they want to move up to take this building. So these guys are probably going to come here, there. These guys want to come down here, set up a base of fire. These guys will probably head for here and then there, with the idea of trying to cross in here and then move down into the buildings. These guys, once they get there, will be looking at probably this building and some covering fire, putting pressure on these 2 buildings, keeping everybody occupied here, but the main thrust may be on the flank. We'll see how it works out. So there's 10 turns. He has initiative. Let's get our cards up. On my reference card, he has initiative, and I have a break of 5, and he has a break of 7, but we increase it 1 because he's the ape. So I'm going to put this down here. We don't need this anymore. Get the German reference, and we'll bring that down a little bit. And his break, I'm going to set the break number to 8 because he's the ape. I'm going to put this out somewhere where I can see him. So like there. Yeah, that's no good. There. It just automatically snaps. Okay. And my American, because these are sudden death. That's that. Oops, I might as well leave that open. Got our 2 cards. Let's get those a little out of the way, off the map. There we are. That's the plan. We're ready for turn 1, I believe. We are all set up. Oh, I want this guy proned as well. Status. Prone him. Those 2 guys are prone on the flanks. We can't prone in a building, as I remembered. And I discovered last time it's really stupid to prone out on offense. I left 2 strong units behind and they never really got back into the action. Not going to do that again. But on defense, prone makes sense. There we are. We're set up for their back. Come back next time. Tune in for turns 1 and 2. And I will see you then. Later.